Sir Celestine.
Many people talked about restructuring, the need to restructure Nigeria. It became a tribal thing. It became an ethnic talk that there's need to restructure Nigeria. Some people even thought of restructuring Nigeria to mean state creation. Some people thought of restructuring to mean things that are personal to them. Some thought of restructuring in different forms. And I sat down and wondered what would be the need for Nigeria and for the good of Nigeria and for the interest of everybody, not just this scattered interest. You will see that at the time we had Afenifere people talking of restructuring Nigeria. You hear Ohaneze Ndibo talking of restructuring Nigeria. You hear of all different parts of Nigeria talking about it. But many out of this desire were just selfish, personal. So I now came up with the idea and traced the history of Nigeria from the colonial period, how Nigeria was united, how it was disintegrated by different forms and functions. The unification of Nigeria, the North and South dichotomy, and the regionalization of Nigeria, and then the creation of states. All this affected Nigeria and Nigerian interests. So all these I picked and put together in the book so that we will be guided, Nigerians will be guided. And I realized also that there's a lot of sentiment by Nigerians on the whole idea of restructuring. Some believe that if we restructure, they will be marginalized. Some believe that if you restructure Nigeria, their economic interests will be affected. Some believe that already they are being marginalized because of their interests, their economic power or economic interests being taken away from them. So I put all this together and came up with this book. And that's how the book came about. I must make it clear. The steps taken by the National Assembly for restructuring is completely wrong. Absolutely wrong. The National Assembly is only a minute number of people who are affected by the current situation of Nigeria. So if they are to do restructuring, let there be a body. Like during it was Babangida's period where we had Constitutional Assembly. We had also a body during Jonathan's period for restructuring or constitutional change in Nigeria. This is what they're supposed to do. If you look at the gathering in Hilton, how many people were there to air their views and propose ideas on how to restructure Nigeria? Very few. So that does not represent the whole interest of Nigeria and Nigerians. There should be a way out where majority of Nigerians will be put together and they speak for the common interest of their people, for the purposes of restructuring Nigeria, both constitutionally, geographically, and other means of restructuring. The steps they are taking is not right for the interests of the general of Nigerians as a whole.
What steps should we take to get some of these thematic areas you mentioned in your book? What steps do you think we can take to make it right?
Now, I have said that earlier on in the book that state creation was a good idea in restructuring Nigeria. Before the state creation, we had regional government. And the regional government didn't work well because there was a dichotomy between the minority and minority ethnic groups and majority ethnic groups. And the minority felt they were being humiliated and they continued in the protest. And so the thing went on and states eventually were created. When states were created, some other people also thought they were being marginalized. But then it was a better step than the regional government. Now, in the book, I proposed what we call provincial system of government. The provincial system of government is what we now have as the geopolitical zones forming their own system of government. Now, the geopolitical zones are made up of states. I give you an example of South-South, for instance. South-South is made up of about six states. And the 6 states will form the province in Nigeria. Now, the 6 states will locate where the headquarters will be. And when they locate their headquarters, they will now appoint, they have their own legislative body. Why the state legislative body, that is House of Assemblies, Houses of Assembly, will remain. And there will be a provincial House of Assembly. You understand? Now, from the state provincial House of Assembly, we will also now have the Senate, also coming from the province. Now, I propose that the idea of House of Representatives should go. The idea of Senate remains, but then it will also reduce the number of senators because each province will now, well, not by nomination, by election, have up to 10 people from each province representing them at the Senate. So if you say 10 times 6 provinces, that is how many? 36?
10 times 6.
That's 60 senators instead of 100 and something. And that goes a long way to reduce costs, bring the best brains in the administration of Nigerian legislative system. Now, the same thing goes with the judiciary. The state high courts will remain. That's my own proposal. The state high courts will remain. And with the state high court, there will be a provincial court of appeal. Still, there will be federal court of national court of appeal for the national level. Now, with the national, with the provincial court of appeal, we now have Supreme Court. So there will be no need for appeal from state to province to federal high court to all sorts of levels. We now have state to province to Supreme Court. That shortens the long run where judgment is being delayed for more than 1, 2, 3 years. In fact, Supreme Court now can keep your case for more than 5 years if you have not gotten judgment. So this reduces the number of years people will spend in getting judgment. The same thing with the executive. Now, you look at the economic power. The physical federalism we are operating is not the best for us. Every village wants to be a state because there's a ready-made money. Every person wants to fight for his local government to be a state at the national level because you think the money is there. And yet, there are few states that are generating income for the federation account. You understand? So, if we now say that each state should take 50% of what that state generates, 50% of that goes to the province. 50% of what is generated at the province goes to the federal. Now, 50% of what is generated at the federal is retained by the executive. The 50% of what is left is now distributed amongst the remaining states. It simply means that you will work hard. Each state will be made to work hard to raise their own income and sustain themselves. You understand? If states are made to work hard and sustain their own their economy, and then the province, you see that there will be little wastages, and then there will be economic development at the state level. There will be competition for survival amongst the states and the provinces. Each state will be made to work hard to survive. Each province will be made to work hard to survive, and so on and so forth. But as at now, it is just 1 or 2 states that are producing, and the rest are enjoying, and many more people are calling for creation of more states for themselves. So if you have the physical federalism changed properly, it will help in the development of the states, the development of local governments, development of the provinces, and also development of the federal government. And then the fight to be the president of Nigeria will stop. Every person wants to be president, every person wants to be president, no problem. All because there's too much money at the center. Now, many other things. If you look at the executive power, the powers are being generated at the center. Like one of them said there, that there's too much concentration of power at the center. The devolution of power is necessary to reduce the overbearing at the national level. So, yeah, if we talk about security, yes. Security, I really don't support wholeheartedly the issue of state police, because it could be mishandled. But then the state police could only exist if we have the provincial police. If we have provincial police, who will now post the policies to different states within the province? The state governors will not have absolute power to control the policies, the policemen or police officers posted from the province to their states. But if they are made to be state police, this is a new idea. If they are made to be state police, the powers of the governor would overrun the opposition parties. They will use the police, because he who pays the piper dictates the tune. If the police state is being created by the state, appointed, promoted, salary paid, then they are finished. So what we can only do is to do the state police, but then must be posted from the province, so that a policeman from Akwa Ibom will be posted to River State. River State police could be posted to Delta, and so on and so forth. So you don't have absolute control of the police, because you didn't employ the person. You're not paying the salary. It's the provincial policeman. So that's my own idea of state police. I think they should think this way. They have been thinking of state police. No, let us change the idea of state police. It's different from other.